Hi, everyone. Hope you're well. Friends and family are well, um, and that you know you're coping as best you can, and that you're still with us here in here in class. Um, this week we are talking about chapter 12. Now that we've covered 14 and 13, we are headed full speed ahead into the thermodynamics pile of chapters 17, 18, 19, and 20. In order for those four to have the best grounding they can before we dig into them, we got to make sure to catch the one last chapter that we plan to cover. Chapter 15 and 16, again, we're going to skip. You'll catch chapter 15 in Physics 232. So look forward to that. The deal with chapter 12 is fluids. So it's actually going to be relatively quick. I'll chunk the lecture into a few pieces. There are three laws or principles that that sort of punctuate our journey through chapter 12. And once we've covered those, then we're done. So this week's assignments are a little bit more typical. We've got a worksheet and a sort of applied worksheet recitation, not a simulation, no coding. And we have a lab as well, sort of a more typical week this week. We are due for our next quiz, believe it or not, and I'm working on posting grades for the previous quizzes and for the midterm. But our next quiz will be the 20th of April, a week from well, a week from when I'm posting these videos. But on the 20th of April, it'll be handled very like the midterm. There'll be you'll have all day Monday to do it, but once you start, you'll have only a certain time window, maybe, I don't know, an hour and a half or something like that. Some amount of time to actually complete the quiz, and then some amount of time to upload your work. I'll say more about that later. But for now, that's the upcoming stuff. One quick nut or bolt, is to be thinking about whether you might like to request a letter grade. That's a thing that you're able to do. If you do not request one, it'll default to a transferring pass, a non-transferring pass, or a not pass. And if that's the way you'd like it, then that's the way it'll stay. If you would like a letter grade in traditional, ABCDF style, then there's a form to submit for each class for which you'd like that. And it does not, there's no no takes backs, no take backs. Once you decide that you want to do that, you've done it. So I encourage you to wait until later in April to make that decision, but it's something to start thinking about. How would you like the semester to show up on your transcript for each class that you're taking? If you have any questions about that, hop in to the Zoom meeting during class, or make an appointment during office hours. I know that a couple people have made appointments during next week's office during office hours, the week of the 13th, which is fine. There's still many, many slots available if you have any questions about how that all is going to work or could work or whatever you'd like to do. Um, just make an appointment and we'll get it talked about. Okay. So that's the intro bit, and so that you don't have to watch that whole intro bit the next time you go back to this week's lectures, I'll chop a segment there, and I'll pick back up in a second.